What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Drew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I want to recap Sunday's game where we took on the Seattle Seahawks, and then I'm going to talk about keys to victory for defeating the Dallas Cowboys in Week 2. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content, hit that like button for your boy. I appreciate you guys continuing to tune into the channel. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So Sunday, we did take on the Seattle Seahawks, and we did lose to the Seattle Seahawks by a score of 38-25. Big ups to the Seattle Seahawks for the win. They were the better team last Sunday. They made the plays that were there to be made, and that's pretty much what the game came down to. They capitalized, they executed on the plays that they need to take advantage of. They took advantage. But there's a couple pros and cons I want to hit on to recap Sunday's game, and then we're going to jump right into my keys to victory for defeating the Dallas Cowboys. So we'll go ahead and start with the cons or the bad, and we'll end with the good. A couple things I've seen in this game against the Seahawks. The first thing, the Falcons players just have to be smarter. Ricardo Allen had a bad pass interference in the first drive where he tried to interfere with Tyler Lockett. It looks like he was just face guarding the receiver, and he just has to be smarter than that. Ricardo Allen is one of the smartest players on our team, so he just has to be wiser in that situation. Russell Wilson basically just threw up a pop fly jump ball to Tyler Lockett, who's not the biggest guy. Tyler Lockett's a very small guy, actually. So Ricardo Allen in that instance should have did his best to make a play on the ball and turned around from the football. It just looks like when he tried to turn around for the football, it was too late, and he kind of made a little bit of contact with Tyler Lockett, which got the flag thrown on him. So he just had to be smarter in those situations. Like I said, make him make that play. Because 9 times out of 10, Lockett wasn't going to make that catch because it was an ill-advised throw. It actually ended up going over his head, almost like a non-catchable ball type situation. So we just have to make smart decisions. That was one of the plays that was a backbreaker in this game. It did give Seattle great field position in our red zone. I believe that ball was placed at like the 5-yard line after the penalty. So it was definitely a back-breaking play on 3rd and 23. So you just got to be smarter as a player, Ricardo Allen. And this goes for all of our players. We just have to play smarter football. Another con that I've seen in the game was the coaching. To me, Dan Quinn going for all of those 4th downs. You're a genius if it works. And if it doesn't work, you're gonna have to eat crow. You're going to pay the price. So I'm not against being ultra aggressive. But if you're going to go for it, you better get it. And in this case, those 4 instances where we didn't pick up the first down, it really hurt our team a lot for the mere fact that it put the defense on a short field. It gave Seattle great field position a couple times. And we just have to be smarter as a coaching staff. We have to be smarter. We have to put our players in the best position to succeed. I don't think that the defensive philosophy and scheme in this game wasn't the best, especially on the outside with Isaiah Oliver being beat deep by DK Metcalf on that go route. He didn't have any help over the top, and we just have to be smarter. When Isaiah Oliver is out there on the outside, we definitely have to be smarter in giving him that safety help over the top because he's not the fastest cornerback. We know that he struggles with wide receivers that have top end speed. So we just have to be smarter in those situations. I'm not saying we can't play no man coverage. Sometimes you can mix it up and allow him to play some man coverage, but you just have to always have a safety valve, have a safety back there that's over the top. Even if DeMonte KZ or Rico Allen is playing that single high safety, you always want to play, give the assistance to Isaiah Oliver's side because he is the cornerback that struggles with speed. AJ Terrell can pretty much hold his own on the other end. He was beat also on a double move by DK Metcalf, which is just was a inexperienced type play by AJ Terrell. I told you guys that AJ Terrell is one of those guys that is ultra aggressive, and he was just trying to make a play for our team because we were losing the game. And AJ Terrell tried to he bid on a route. It basically was like a stop and go route that he bid on, or an in and out route where DK Metcalf kind of got him turned around. He had him pivoting just for the mere fact that it was like a stop and go or an in and out type route, and it was pretty much nothing that AJ Terrell could do about it because he had already peeked into the backfield at the quarterback, and he was trying to make a play on the ball. So I'm not mad at AJ Terrell in that instance. I know with rookies, they're going to have their growing pains. I do believe that AJ Terrell is going to lead our team in interceptions this year. I do think that he's going to be a good corner, or if not a great corner in this league. He has all the attributes, the speed, the length, the athleticism. So that's all I was saying. If we're going to play, if we want to play man on one side of the field and zone on the other side of the field, that's definitely a possibility. Or if we want to play single high safeties, have the safety cover over Isaiah Oliver more than AJ Terrell. AJ Terrell is a guy that can pretty much hold his own. But I want to see our defense get more creative. Both the defense and the offense, I feel like, wasn't creative in this last game. And that was another con or another thing that I feel like we can improve on. I think that Dirk Cutter's game plan looked very vanilla. Him and Raheem Morris on the defensive side of the ball. I think the game plan was too vanilla. I think that we need to have more variety on offense. We need to get more creative on offense, because I feel like the third down or the fourth down plays that were drawn up to try to convert on fourth down, I didn't like the play calling. The first one wasn't a bad play. The guy Benson Mayowa just batted the ball down when Matt Ryan tried to throw it to the outside. The guy was going to have the first down. He was wide open. I think it was Russell Gage at the bottom on the right side of the screen. He was running in the flats. And I think he would have picked up that 4th and 2 for us if the ball wasn't batted at the line. But we just have to, come up with better schemes on offense and on defense. We can't stay in one set all game. This goes for the offense and the defense. We need to keep the opposing team off balance and not let them know what we're doing all the time, because I really feel like that's one of the main issues with our coaching. A lot of teams know what we're going to do, and we have to be better at being less predictable. We can't continue to be predictable and allow teams to know what we're doing. But with that being said, I do also want to talk about some pros to the game, some great things that I saw. I think Todd Gurley started off the game really strong. He showed you why the Falcons brought him in with that first touchdown on the goal line, where he was able to dive over the goal line and score his first Atlanta Falcons touchdown of his career with Atlanta. So it was great seeing Todd Gurley get it going early. He had about a 15-yard run and a 6-yard run, like back-to-back on the opening drive. On that second run, when he got about 15 yards, I thought he was going to be gone because it was a lot of open field out there. But I like what I seen out of TG. Todd Gurley, he really looked good to me in week 1. I think they did a good job of resting him and trying to spell him with Brian Hill and try to spell him with Ito Smith. And it just looks like we couldn't maintain the balance in this game because we fell behind. So I definitely think that Todd Gurley was one of the pluses in the game. Also, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, and Russell Gage. Matt Ryan threw for over 450 passing yards, which was number 1 in the league last week. He is the top pass thrower right now. He has the most yards with 450 passing yards. I told you guys that he was going to eclipse 5,000 yards this season. If he has another 400-yard game this week, he'll almost be at 1,000 already. So I definitely think that it's going to be a huge year for Matt Ryan. I think he's going to have a huge game against Dallas. Russell Gage, Russell Gage, Julio Jones, and Calvin Ridley all eclipsed 100 receiving yards in this game. Julio Jones went for $156, and he's also leading the league right now in receiving yards. So that Julio Jones and Matt Ryan connection has been going for years and years and years. Those guys are like two peas in a pod. They know each other like the back of their hand. The timing routes and things of that nature are like perfection. Matt Ryan knows where Julio Jones is going to be. Julio Jones knows where Matt Ryan's going to put the football. So they really look sharp, even though it was their first week without having any preseason. In our first game of the season, those guys, the pass catchers, Calvin Ridley and Russell Gage, really look good in this game against the Seattle Seahawks. So I expect big things also this week against Dallas. Another pro that I took from the game was Younghoe Koo. He continues to impress. He did miss one field goal, I believe, in the game, but he was able to come up with another successful onside kick. Him and Afoye Oluokun seem to always put it together when it comes to those onside kicks. Younghoe Koo, after missing that, I think it was the second, I believe he missed the second field goal, if I'm not mistaken. He might have not missed any. I can't remember now, but Younghoe Koo did play well in this game. He was really successful in this game with the onside kick and with kicking field goals for us. He looked really good. So the special teams, they also look pretty good going downfield and making tackles, not giving up any big returns. So those were all pluses in the game. And the last plus I want to talk about in the game was the defensive line. To me, Tat McKinley looks much improved. He's lost weight over the summer or over the off season. It looked like he lost a lot of weight and got back down, like he said, to his rookie weight. He looked very good in the game. He had a sack on the first play against Russell Wilson. Grady Jarrett looked really good as always. He had a sack as well. I think he had 1.5 sacks, if I'm not mistaken, in the game. And then Dante Fowler, the new addition to our team at defensive end, he also looks really, really good, especially in the run game and setting the edge. He was out there playing physical. Him and Grady Jarrett, Tat McKinley was wrecking havoc on that defensive line. So I feel like if we bring Marlon Davidson back, if we get him back this week against Dallas, that really could go a long way for us. And we really could see these guys set it off on the offensive, on the defensive line. They really did a good job of mucking the game up, playing physical up front, at the point of attack. To me, stopping Chris Carson. I seen Dante Fowler a couple times at the point of attack, cause Chris Carson to bounce it outside or cause him to lose yardage on the play. Deion Jones played well as well. And you really could see the aggressiveness of the defensive line really helped Deion Jones because I didn't see a ton of guards getting to the second level and blocking him in Afoye Oluokun. I think that the guys up front did a great job of keeping those guys clean. Like I said, I really think that Tat McKinley is going to take the next step this year. I think he's going to have a great season as well. Dante Fowler is really rubbing off on Grady Jarrett and rubbing off on Tat McKinley. So I'm expecting big things out of those guys. But with that being said, I feel like we need to go ahead and jump right into some keys to victory against Dallas. I actually only really have about 5 keys to victory. So the first key to victory for beating Dallas this week, we are traveling to Dallas to take on the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington at the $1 billion playpen, as Stephen A. Smith, I believe, calls it, or as Shannon Sharp, one of them called it the $1 billion playpen. I think it was Stephen A. Smith for the Dallas Cowboys home stadium. I do think that they're going to have some fans at this particular game for Dallas. So that could be an advantage for the Cowboys. But I really think that the Falcons are going to walk away with the victory in this game. My first key to victory is stopping Ezekiel Elliott. I really think that Ezekiel Elliott on that offense is what makes that offense go. He is the gas in that engine on that team. It's not Dak Prescott, it's Zeke. If they get the running game going, that's how they open up play action for Dak Prescott. So it's going to be imperative that we gang tackle. Zeke is one of those guys that's a freight train, and he has a ton of moves that he uses. The stiff arm. He definitely can truck you as well. He's one of those guys that have great physical attributes. He's one of the bigger running backs in the game. He's not super tall, but he weighs and he's thick. He's hard to tackle straight up, mano a mano. So we're definitely going to have to game tackle Zeke in this game. We're going to have to limit him in the passing game because last week it looked like Mike McCarthy, who is the new head coach of Dallas, is going to also try to use Ezekiel Elliott in the passing game out of the backfield. So this is going to be an important game, an important matchup for our linebackers, for Deion Jones and Afoye Oluokun. Those guys are going to have to be ready. The defensive line, I want to see that same energy that we had last week on the defensive line and that same pressure. I think this week we might get back Marlon Davidson, and he'll be a huge addition if we can get him back and have him playing next to Grady Jarrett, where he can get into the backfield and get a couple tackles for loss against Ezekiel Elliott. But like I was saying, you don't want to let Zeke get rolling and start doing this, start eating and stuff like that. We don't want to see that from Zeke this week. We want to not let Zeke eat. As they say, eat, Zeke, eat. We don't want to let Zeke eat in this game. So we're going to have to do a good job of, like I said, game tackling, making sure it's a bunch of hats flying to the football, and we got to play physical up front. We have to penetrate the center of that Dallas Cowboy offensive line. We definitely have to penetrate it. They lost their center there in Dallas, Travis Frederick, who retired because he had, he was sick. So that's why he went ahead and retired. So it's definitely an advantage for us, and Grady Jarrett and Marlon Davidson is definitely going to be the advantage for those guys up front, especially right there in the center of their offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys. Zach Martin is one of the better guards in the league, but I really think that they're going to struggle to protect in this game. They are also down, I think, their right tackle, who got injured last week. So that's an advantage. Takk McKinley, advantage for Dante Fowler and those guys. I do think those guys are going to be ready to play, but those guys got to be ready to shut down Ezekiel Elliott and also shut down Dak Prescott when he scrambles out of the pocket and when he tries to make plays in this game. We definitely going to have to play sound football, and we're going to have to play our style of football, our brand of football. Now, my second key to victory will be for our Falcons to jump out to a good lead. We need to get the lead in this game. We don't want to be playing from behind like we did last year. Most of the games when we started 1-8 last year, we got in huge deficits, like down 3 possessions, 2 possessions, whether it was 21 points or whether it was 2 touchdowns, like 14 points. We did a bad job of staying in games. We had a couple of games where we made valiant efforts to come back in the game last year. Like I can vividly remember when we played the Indianapolis Colts last year and the Tennessee Titans. I know in that Colts game, we kind of cut it to 1 possession towards the end of the game, but we just have to make sure we get off to a good start. If we get off to a good start, that's going to give the defense confidence. If our offense can go out there and score some points early and kind of try to put this game out of reach, because one thing that we want to do is take the ball out of Zeke's hands. And the way you take the ball out of Zeke's hands is score a bunch of touchdowns really fast, because once a team gets down, they only can run so much. So we definitely going to have to be ready to play in this game. My third key to victory in this game is going to be our defensive line. I really think that our defensive line is going to have to come with it. They're definitely going to have to get after Dak Prescott. If you remember the last time we beat the Dallas Cowboys, Adrian Claiborne had a career day with 6 sacks in 1 game. That was his best game of his NFL career. He did harass Dak Prescott that whole game, and I expect the same in this game. I really think that Dante Fowler, Takk McKinley, John Cominsky, all of those guys, if we get Charles Harris back this game and Marlon Davidson, we're really going to be able to create havoc for Dak in this game. Dak is one of those guys that can run with the football, but he's reluctant to run with the football. So if we can collapse that pocket like we did last week and we can run some games up front, I really think we can take advantage of them missing their right tackle and they missing Frederick, their former center. Being that he's no longer on their team, I really think that we can run some games up front, because we know that on the offensive line, it's all about communication. And if they're down, some of their offensive linemen, that could really hurt the communication piece for that offensive line. And I really think that our defensive line can lick their chops and we can take advantage of that. Now, my fourth key to victory in this game is actually coaching. In this game, I definitely want to see Dan Quinn making smarter decisions, whether it's taking field goals when they're there to be taken, whether it's not going for it every fourth down, just the small things, because I talked about it before. It's the small nuances of the game. It's about 5 or 6 plays in the game that are momentum shifters that can cause you to win a game or cause you to lose a game. And pretty much last game, those 4 or 5 plays went against us every time. We didn't pick up any of the fourth downs that we went for. The one that we actually picked up during the fake punt was fumbled and they recovered it. So every time it looked like we were about to get off the field, whether it was DK Metcalf on fourth down, 4th and 5, him catching that deep touchdown pass where Isaiah Oliver was in man coverage by himself. It just seemed like what can go wrong will go wrong, went wrong last week. So I definitely think in this game, we have to be prepared to play. I definitely think that the coaching, like I said, has to be better. We have to be more creative. Dirk Cutter on offense. I want to see more running plays in this game. We definitely have to stay in the game so we can continue to run the football. We can't allow the Dallas Cowboys to jump out to a big lead. And then my 5th key to victory in this game is actually the Dallas Cowboys cornerbacks versus our wide receivers. I really think that we have the advantage when it comes to their secondary. They do have Trayvon Diggs, the former cornerback out of Alabama, who they drafted. Stephon Diggs, his brother. He's a solid corner. I did watch him play last week against the LA Rams, and he looked pretty solid. But we all know that no one can hold Julio, Calvin Ridley, and Russell Gage or Hayden Hurst. So we have one of the best wide receiving cores in the game. And I really think that is going to come down to their cornerbacks versus our wide receivers. And I really think that we can have a field day in this game. I really could see Matt Ryan going over 400 yards passing again this week, because I think that Dallas is really shorthanded on the secondary and they're really young on that secondary. And I do feel like those young guys are going to get exposed on Sunday. But with that being said, this has been your boy Jew. You let me know what you think about the video. You guys can leave any comment you have below, any questions that you want me to answer, maybe a video that you would like me to do. Definitely drop those comments below. But I do appreciate you guys. I did also guarantee victory on Sunday. I don't like to guarantee victories, but I told the guys in our Atlanta Falcons Nation group that you guys can book it. I said it last Sunday during our post-game show. I did book that we will beat the Cowboys this Sunday. You can book it. I'm guaranteeing it. I do think that Matt Ryan and those guys are going to go out there and they're going to ball out. Of course, I always say talk is cheap. So we're going to see. Our guys got to go out there and back it up on the field. But I'm not afraid of Dallas. Can Dallas beat us? Yes, because anything is possible in the NFL. They definitely could beat us, but I don't see it happening. I do think that loss last week was a slap in the face. It was a wake-up call for the players that this is game 1, and this is a new year, and it's time to go. So I do think that our defensive line is going to, our defensive line and our players are going to come to play this game. I'm looking for big things in this game against Dallas. Like I said, I did book it. I do guarantee that we're going to beat Dallas this week. But with that being said, this has been your boy Jew. I'll holler at you guys in the next video. And always, Falcons Nation, hit that subscribe button below. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. And I'm out. Peace. I'll holler at you guys.